Hello, everybody. I am attorney Michael Eline, and I just got the word that there was an assassination attempt against President Trump. And since I have a little bit of background in firearms, not just as a Marine, but as somebody who regularly trains in close quarter battle techniques, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what just happened and about how just a tilt of his head probably just saved his life. But we're just going to get into this really quick. And then we'll get into the political reasons. And, a lot of my friends are calling me going, hey, Mike, it looks like the CIA, when they couldn't lie and convince everybody that Trump was a Russian agent, and he just keeps clobbering all the other Democrat candidates. And since we know that the administrative state since Obama is run by the far left, do you think that this was a CIA assassination attempt like they did against Kennedy? And honestly, I don't know. But I can tell you this much. We'll talk about it, and we'll share some theories and conspiracy theories, and we'll share the facts, and we'll see where it leads us. But this is pretty wild, guys. I mean, we've seen this hate campaign against him and the Soros-led prosecutors getting all these convictions against him. And all it's done is serve to embolden him and make him into a martyr, similar to what happened to Chile de Castro just recently. And I just want to share this footage with you because a lot of people still don't believe this is true. So here we go. So watch his head.
This is a big crowd.
He's turned his head. It's a grazing shot coming from his.
Would show it. I wish they'd spin their cameras and show it, because nobody would believe it.
As soon as he turns his head into the shot.
The other day, Biden was saying, I got big crowds, meeting him. He gets big crowds. He doesn't know what a big... And there were like 93 people there. 93, you know what that is? That's where the front row Joes sit, right here, 93. We got more than 93
somebody says, look at the sign behind him. That's where the shot came from.
Butler, and hello to Pennsylvania. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, and that's what you are. And we got to bring our country back to health.
Wow.
Because our country is going to hell, if you haven't noticed.
Okay, head movement.
Millions and millions of people are pouring in from prisons and from mental institutions. We're going to stop it. We're going to get it stopped. We're going to bring them back. As he said, we're going to bring them back. We're going to deport. With the help of
everyone here tonight, what do you guys think? Where's the shot coming from? I'm saying it's coming from his right side, grazing shot to the ear.
Laughing Kamala Harris. And we're going to take back the White House, and we're going to take back our country. We're going to take it back. Our country's been stolen from us. You see that? It's the greatest, one of the greatest crimes is what they've done over 4 years and hiding what the obvious facts are, isn't it? Huh? Isn't it a shame? You run for the president of the United States from a basement. All very dishonest stuff, right? But we're going to have the greatest election. I tell you what, we did fantastically in 2016. We did much better in 2020. We did much better. And it was rigged. It was a rigged deal, but we did much better. But it's...
So Portola says, look at the sign behind him. I'm going to try to push it a little bit forward because, okay, here we go. Let me get back. Okay, here we go. I think this is before he gets hit.
Oh, that chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Right there. Boom. Okay, so. Okay, right there, based on the sound of the report, that sounds like a 2.23 or a 5.56 round, number one. Number two, that's two hits. That's two shots. Now, somebody said it looked like a sign behind him. But based on the report, from what I heard, it sounded like it was probably around 150 to 200 yards out. So I just want to go back and rewind it, but I want to look at your comments before I get into this because I want to see if I'm on point or if one of you guys got me to the point on this. Kurt Bronson says 2.23. I think it's a 2.23 as well. Too much powder for it to be a regular 22, just too loud of a report. Could be a 5.56, but basically it's the same round. I'm going to assume it's going to be probably an AR platform a center fire semi-auto, which is, makes sense. If there's more Hondas on the road, there's going to be more Hondas in accidents. If there's more ARs out in the road, there's going to be more ARs used in shootings. That's probably what happened here. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Stomper, President Trump just got shot, man. We're going to rewind it really quick so you guys can look at the signs behind him and see what happened here. But it looks like a grazing wound coming from his right side.
Crowds of people desperate to have rallies, desperate to have anything to take back our country. And we're going to take it back. Next week, the Republican Party will hold its convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And 5 days from now, we will officially accept the Republic.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get it going forward a little more. Sometimes I mess up and
government services
get it going
comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at.
See, it's just like right. Boom. Hold on. Right there.
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before.
Check it out. Grazing wound.
And it's not easy because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals.
Half of them are in Congress.
We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We had the strongest border.
Man, I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm trying to show you the shot heard around the world here. And I'm just not. Boom. There it is. Hold on. 40.
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before.
Just
we're going to
bear
make
with me, guys.
And it's not easy because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have
Dude, if that was an S&W 500, if it even passed like within a couple inches of him, it would have taken off half his face, man. That's a 50 cal round. Here we go.
Criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We had the strongest border ever.
Okay, look at the sign behind him. Someone's saying it looks like a shot from the sign.
In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring. I try and explain that.
And you decide.
Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time.
Right there, watch.
Right, guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country.
You think so?
Probably 20 million people.
And
that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Boom. I don't know, dude. I don't know. We're gonna get into the aftermath of this, but really quick. So I just want to get into this. Kurt Bronson thinks that the bleeding is from the earpiece. Now, based on the sound of the report, you know what? I take back my original statement. It sounds like it's closer in, because the sound. So typically, you can tell by the sound of the report from the time of impact and the time you hear it, roughly how far away the weapon is. Okay. In this case, it sounded like from the time of the report, the boom, from the time of him grabbing his ear, it was almost instantaneous. The issue that I have is based on the way it sounded. It sounded like a 223 or a 556. That was a heavy duty report. Now it could be like a 10 or a 40 though, right? Because that's a hotter round. So it could be a smaller caliber round. However, based upon the damage to his head, it looks like it was a grazing wound from something like maybe a 223 round. It just, to me, like if that was a 45 or a 9 mil or even a 10, right, or a 40, that would have probably taken his ear completely off, in my opinion. So you tell me. So I want to hear what you guys think, because I'm not a total expert like a Navy SEAL or whatever, but I pride myself in being a Marine and being up to date on the latest in firearms and ammunition technology. So I want to know what y'all think, but we're going to go ahead and keep on playing this bad chicken because this is history right now in the making, and you're experiencing it with Michael Eline, injury lawyer. Here we go.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium.
Like
I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
Get ready. You ready?
The shots came from over here. Shots came from here.
Shooters down.
I'm sorry. Shots came from here. Here. Shots came from here, from this direction, and went that direction into him. And if he had not had his head turned, it could have been straight through his head to his temple.
Let me get my shoes on.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the class. Watch out.
All right, now, guys, there could have been, just hear me out, if that was a 22 or a smaller caliber round, there could be penetration into his brain. So this may not be over. If that was not a grazing wound, there could be penetration into President Trump's brain. Now, here's the issue. What happened to the other people if they were in the field of fire? So I want you guys to pay attention to the field of fire. Ballistically, we know the round was headed this way based upon the way he grabbed his ear. So if the round went this way, what was over here? Because that'll give us a pretty good idea. Because if something didn't get hit over here, that means he could have ammunition, like a bullet, lodged into part of his brain. And this could be one of those situations where it's far from over. And so this is a really big deal for me. My wife was like, oh my God, you need to start do a podcast on this because no one's going to cover it because they're all weaklings. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, yes, ma'am. So here we go. We're going to keep on watching this bad chicken because it's a big deal. I got to tell you something. That's pretty freaking motivating right there.
Okay, they are escorting the former President Donald Trump away from this podium over in Pennsylvania. You just heard moments ago what sounded like a popping noise. No confirmation as of yet as to what that could have been. It really could be anything at this point. We don't know if it was shots fired in the distance. We don't know if it was possibly fireworks or something of that nature. But you see that entire crowd there really just...
Get my shoes on.
Got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes on.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the class.
He looks pretty messed up, guys.
Watch out.
Right. A lot of people think it's a CIA op. That's what I was trying to tell you guys.
Okay, you just saw there that entire scenario that happened just moments ago at a campaign rally for former President Donald Trump over in Pennsylvania.
So
we did have on the Chiron just before the screen here shots heard, but we have not had a confirmation on what that noise was. So we are going to continue to refer to it as popping noises. You did just hear it there on the screen. That is what we heard. But of course, out of an abundance of caution, the Secret Service rushed to the stage there in order to protect the former president. He ducked behind the podium. We do still have a live look out at that event. I'd like to bring it up here just so we can continue to monitor this situation. The crowd is dispersing at the moment, and we do see that we have a reporter on the ground there for Fox News, hopefully providing some more commentary for this. But this is a developing story at the moment. This is the first time in this campaign season that we have aired a live event for a presidential candidate, and we have seen such a situation play out. it was a huge crowd of supporters that did come out to Butler to see the former president. And this is developing. Let's get back out to the reporter down there on the ground, continuing to give us the latest on this situation.
Several pops. And then he was on the floor. We saw the Secret Service move in. We saw people walking in with the federal authorities with their arms drawn, their guns. And then also all throughout the hours leading up to this, we saw these snipers up here on the roof there trying to survey the crowd and make sure everybody that came in was checked. And that's what we see when we go to all these events, especially when the Secret Service is involved. They check as many people as they can. People were out here for like 12 hours almost waiting, some of these people. We don't know if the person who fired these shots was in to the crowd mixed in. After former President Trump was moved off that stage and rushed away and the motorcade left, we did see some Secret Service members and possibly state police moving in again with their guns drawn and looking like they possibly took somebody in for questioning or custody. We couldn't see, but there was a lot of.
So you guys kind of got the idea. Unfortunately, I lost my super cool Ask Michael Eline background, but that's the price you pay when you're trying to report news live on the fly. So I was actually at a restaurant grabbing some food for my kids, and one of my buddies reached out to me and said, "Hey, President Trump just got shot." And I was like, "Shut up, man. That's bull." And sure enough, man, I went on and there it was. So I rushed home and I was like, I got to share this with the crowd, because as soon as I got that text, like 5 other people, like my military buddies, were like, "Dude, I know it's the CIA. You know how they made up the false Russia collusion story, and like all the Obama appointees made up this story that, you know, all this Russia collusion thing. And every time Trump ever said anything, they would say Russia, Russia, Russia. And they really are terrified of this guy because he wanted to release all the files about the Kennedy assassination. At least that's what they're saying. And, you know, obviously a lot of people think the CIA was behind that. And so now I'm hearing all this stuff. Hey, man, did the CIA just try to take out Trump? It's like they just assume that that's what happened, you know, like the Obama CIA. It's like you say that both words at the same time, because a lot of people think they're the same entity now, you know. But I don't know, guys. I'm just telling you, like, everybody's going, dude, you gotta check this out. So I thought this was an amazing moment in history. I wanted to share it with you guys. So I rushed home. I don't know if it was a CIA operation or not. Don't know enough about it, but all I do know is, and hopefully BZ Watchdog's here. Let me take a look here. Yeah, he was hit, Greg B. It looks like he got a grazing shot to his ear. Let me go back and see if I can get us back to the point where he actually takes the hit. It's just so hard to like just get it like right on the money, man. Like fudge, dude. Like these pinko commies that run this thing just don't want to give me a shot. And I don't mean like a real shot. Okay, let's see if this gets it.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people.
More than that.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Yeah, that's a hit. And there's 2 more, so that's 4 shots. So he got hit.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background.
We'll try to get it right back for you. Hold on, let me see if we can get right back on.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, big, beautiful crowd.
See if we can get close to where it happened.
Couple of minutes.
Because I want you to look at the signs.
We had the strongest boy. In fact,
one of the audience members was saying that you could see like a report coming from one of the signs.
See something that said,
take a look.
Take a look at what happened.
Oh yeah. So you heard that. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was about 7 rounds. That could, yeah. And these guys were looking over here, thinking the shot came from over here.
Hold, when you're ready, on you.
Are you ready?
Move, go.
Oh yeah.
Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Move it to the stair. Stair, get ready. Stair, get ready. We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move.
All right. So the other option would be is maybe it came from behind him, and the rounds were going the opposite direction, and so maybe the rounds came from like entered from this part of his ear, grazed him this way. But either way, if his head hadn't been turned, it would have gone from a grazing wound to an entry wound, and probably an exit wound through his brain, through his skull, through his brain housing group, as they would say in my beloved Corps. So guys, I'm sorry that I don't have my cool background for y'all. That kind of sucks. But in the process of trying to get up here live really quick, I lost my freaking doggone cool background. So I'm green for the day. Hey, what can you say? Huh? All right. Hey, Rodney Dangerfield. But take a look, guys. Let's go ahead and see the aftermath of how our Secret Service goes ahead and extricates our former president from the shooting scene. You did, Vanish. You got hit, brother. You did get hit.
Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. Bloody.
So we got to move to the box.
See that red rag right there? That's a lot of blood on there. He's losing a lot of blood. And that, my friend, just won Donald Trump the election. And probably half the country do believe that this was a Democrat assassination.
Okay, you
attempt.
just saw there that entire scenario that happened just moments ago at a campaign rally for former President Donald Trump over in Butler, Pennsylvania. We did have on
Now already I'm getting my phone blowing up, like a lot of people are saying that it's like some trans rights person that did it. But the problem is, if that was the case, that would be immediately buried by the press. So hopefully it was someone else, because I'd like to find out what happened right away instead of having the press bury something that they don't think is popular.
the Chiron just before the screen here as shots heard, but we have not had a confirmation on what that noise was. So we are going to continue to refer to it as popping noises. You did just hear it there on the screen. That is what we heard. But of course, out of an abundance of caution, the Secret Service rushed to the stage there in order to protect the former president. He ducked behind the podium. We do still have a live look out at that event. I'd like to bring it up here just so we can continue to monitor this.
So I have a very special guest in the sidebar, guys. We got chili. Everybody give me a bunch of FCs for free chili, Yeah. Everybody, Delete Law says, really, I don't know. Sounded like firecrackers. Hello, Team DLZ. Hello, Michael. Hey, what's going on, Chili? So glad you're out. Everybody give me a bunch of ones for Chili de Castro. And I'll be honest with you, Chili, I don't know, but based upon the sound of the report, the sound of the actual, the way the rounds were going off, it didn't sound like firecrackers to me, brother. It sounded like it was probably a 5.56 or a 2.23, or maybe like a 40, or a hot round, like a 10 mil. And based upon the report and the way he grabbed his ear, it was almost instantaneous. So to me, it sounds like it was an assassination attempt. And of course, the reason why I put out was it the CIA thing is because the first text message that I got was, dude, it looks like the CIA tried to take out Trump. So I said, okay, screw it, man. I'm going to go with the conspiracy theorist title. But honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if it was 100% like Chili is saying, guys. I wish that I had Chili here in the chat with me, though, so y'all could see him. But this is really super cool, man. We got freaking Chili de Castro in the sidebar. Everybody give me a bunch of ones for Chili. So everybody, this has been a long road for all of us. We got our friend out, and it was a concerted effort. He had a terrific appellate lawyer, and he did everything right to make that happen. But again, we are here kind of checking out what's going on with Donald Trump. And was it the CIA? Was it even an assassination attempt at all? Let's take a look and see what Fox News has to say. Because honestly, guys, I don't really watch the mainstream for-profit news. But I couldn't find this anywhere. I couldn't find it on MSNBC. I couldn't find it on CNN. The only place I could find it was on Fox. So forgive me for for playing Fox News for all you purists who hate Fox News. But it's just the facts that I'm trying to get. So let's take a look, and everybody say hi to Chili and talk to him in the sidebar. And everybody, let's plan our celebration when we get together with him and get crazy in Nevada.
The situation, the crowd is dispersing at the moment, and we do see that we have a reporter on the ground there for Fox News, hopefully providing some more commentary for this. But this is a developing story at the moment. This is the first time in this campaign season that we have aired a live event for a presidential candidate, and we have seen such a situation play out. It was a huge crowd of supporters that did come out to Butler to see the former president. And this is developing. Let's get back out to the reporter down there on the ground, continuing to give us the latest on this situation.
Several pops. And then he was on the floor. We saw the Secret Service move in. We saw people walking in with the federal authorities with their arms.
Yeah, and we saw like a rag that was completely red, and it looked like the Secret Service agent had been like compressing the wound to his head. And so, Chili, because you joined us late, so my theory was it's either a grazing wound or it's a small caliber round that entered his cranium with no exit wound, like a low velocity round. So that would take away credibility from it being a 10 or a 40 round. So I'm just totally confused about the whole thing. But based upon the way it sounded, from having been to the range thousands of times, it really did sound like a firearm and not a firecracker. And for any of you military guys or former LEOs that are brave enough to be in my chat, put it in the comments what you guys think it was, and I'll keep on playing this bad chicken, as Chili would say. So I've trademarked bad chicken, Chili, so you're going to have to sue me now to get it back.
Drawn their guns, and then also all throughout the hours leading up to this, we saw these snipers up here on the roof there trying to survey the crowd and make sure everybody that came in was checked. And that's what we see when we go to all these events, especially when the Secret Service is involved. They check as many people as they can. People were out here for like 12 hours almost waiting, some of these people. We don't know if the person who fired these shots was in to the crowd mixed in. After former President Trump was moved off that stage and rushed away and the motorcade left, we did see some Secret Service members and possibly state police moving in, again with their guns drawn and looking like they possibly took somebody in for questioning or custody. We couldn't see, but there was a lot of movement over there to the other side of the stage. That was after the former president was carted off.
Wild.
He yelled, Shannon, as you might have heard during those remarks, after they picked him up, he said, "Let me grab my shoes." I mean, he had fallen to the ground. They were trying to do everything they could to make sure that he was okay. He walked off the stage, and before he left.
Yeah, so that tells me that it was not just a grazing wound, but an impact, like probably like a skull fracture graze. You saw a significant amount of skin that looked like it was impacted on the side of his cranium. So any of you guys who are combat corpsmen, I already put in a call to my buddy Howard, who was a Navy SEAL who did several tours overseas as a combat corpsman with the Fleet Marine Force, to see what his thoughts were. Because obviously I never did combat, but it looks like, and it sounds like a firearm, guys, and it sounds like he got hit. And based upon the way he grabbed his ear and the way he fell, it was almost instantaneous, like somebody getting sucker punched. Now, Chili, I know you're an MMA guy. I mean, the best of us, I mean, I've been knocked out a few times. You know, when you get hit like super hard, even if it's a grazing blow, sometimes it just throws you off kilter and you lose your balance. Now, imagine being like 70 something years old. I mean, if the guy fell that bad to where a shoe fell off, that tells me that that was like a sack of potatoes. He got hit with something and not a firecracker. But I want to hear what you have to say, Chili, because I think that you probably are better at close quarter defense techniques than me. Now, let's see here. Yeah, so vanished M31. I don't know. It could have been a distant shot. Who knows? Somebody told me look at the signs in the background, but I looked a few times and I couldn't see anything that indicated any issues with a round coming from where the signs came from. I did see where people were ducking for cover, but the problem is, you know, if it's if it's a firearm in an area that's like an amphitheater, for example, the echo it's going to be confusing as to where the shot came from. That's just a fact of life. So based upon the way that area is designed, the way that the sound reverberates around that section of people and those buildings, those obstacles that look like sounds could bounce off of them in all kinds of different directions, I could see how it would be very confusing for people who were there in that audience. But whatever it was, I think that it was a projectile that was fired from something at high velocity. So what do you guys think? Give me a bunch of ones if you think that it was a firecracker, and give me a bunch of twos. Give me a bunch of twos if you think that it was a firearm and that this was an assassination attempt on former President Trump. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And give me a bunch of threes if you'd like me to keep rolling this footage, or if you think that you've seen enough. Because honestly, I wasn't even going to come on. I just thought I should cover this because like my kids and my wife were like, go cover this. No one's going to cover this. Go cover this. Okay, I'll cover it. But unfortunately, my green screen's screwed up, so I look like a retard. But either way, if you want me to, give me some threes and I'll keep playing it for you. That could have been an acorn that fell from a tree. That's right. Yeah, you can see that's right, Stacy. You can see the blood splatter across his face. That's right. Looks pretty terrible. I mean, look, I don't wish that on anybody, but you can see the press has really done everything they could to destroy him. And then the George Soros prosecutors, whether you love him or hate him, I mean, you know, I'm always going to stand up for the underdog who's being oppressed, because that's just my nature. So, you know, I don't support this guy on most of his political stuff, support his Second Amendment stuff. But I certainly don't wish any kind of pain or hatred against anyone, because we've seen, especially with what happened to Chile, how innocent men can be convicted, and not only convicted, but thrown away and have the key locked away, and then have be delayed from leaving the dungeon, from leaving the torture chamber, so that jail can collect an extra day's worth of pay. Just disgusting, right? So I always want to stand up for the little guy. And so for those people who just hate Trump or hate people because they stand for a cause, probably this isn't the best channel for you. But if you guys want, I'll go ahead and keep playing this. Just let me know. If not, I'll just go ahead and just go, because I'm burned out. I didn't even want to come on today, but this was just such an opportunity. What a historic moment, right? Like, guys, you just shared with Michael Eline a historic moment that's right up there with the assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan, which a lot of my audience were probably in 5th grade when that happened, or even past that, the even older people who are still alive who witnessed the assassination of President Kennedy. And so we just witnessed something really, really historic. And in full circle, remember, I wouldn't even be on this channel right now if it hadn't been for Chile, who just happened to show up. So talk about the cosmic energy in the galaxy and the stars all lining up to come full circle, right? Listen to that, right? Isn't that an amazing story? So all that stuff lined up. And so historically now, we've all shared a moment together that we'll always remember. And so we have that mental and emotional connection. So anyways, guys, I definitely want you to join Chile de Castro over on Delete Laws tomorrow. Take a look at his channel. If you want to watch the assassination attempt a few more times, you can go to the Fox News link. They have a live link where you can replay it. But tomorrow for sure, go check out the Delete Laws. I think it's Delete Laws 1984. Go check out his channel. Click that button that talks about where you where it says reminder. So click on that so you guys know, because some people are going to forget because you're probably out partying or whatever. Too many bong rips, right? But just make sure you click that, and then make sure to go to his channel if you're not already a subscriber, because some of my audience may not even be subscribers, but I doubt that. But if you're not already, go hit the like and subscribe button, for Chile, and go hit him up over at the Delete Laws channel. Join him tomorrow, and let's hear about some of his adventures. And over the next couple of days, I'm going to be doing some videos about torture cuffs and different torture techniques that are being used by the jails, the for-profit prison system, and pushing forward with some of Chile's initiatives that he wanted me to start working on when I visited him in the dungeon. For example, separating violent from nonviolent prisoners. I've been seeking out other attorneys to try and help me build a coalition so we can try to get some, government employees like politicians involved to help us push some legislation through. Just common sense stuff. So people like Chile who were falsely accused and ultimately acquitted don't have to come out of jail with traumatic, post-traumatic stress disorder, don't have to lose their livelihoods and their families, lose their dogs and all the relationships that they have over something. And it's going to be called the anti-nurse ratchet on the bench legislation. That was what one of my members wanted me to call it, the nurse ratchet bench legislation. So Chile, I'm sure you can appreciate that. For all you people who saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it's going to be a monumental bill that we're going to try to pass, the nurse ratchet bill. And I think you guys are going to be very happy with it. For anybody who's been falsely accused or locked up by the administrative state unjustly. With that being said, torture cuffs are torture. And I want to thank Brick Jonesy and Letso TVO and, of course, BZ Watchdog for helping us out on this adventure. And, of course, obviously Chile for having the balls to be able to go through with this and having the ability and the intelligence and the genius to be able to put something in place where he would enable himself, because he did this all himself, guys. He enabled himself to have a support network because he won the people over. He didn't win over them. He won the people over, and he won over people like me. And he was able to put together a network just by virtue of his personality. And that was an amazing feat. And I think you should all give him a bunch of ones right now before I retire for the evening. But let's all give a prayer for the Trump family and for anyone who's been falsely accused or targeted politically because of their beliefs. And never wish ill upon your enemies, because justice and vengeance are really the purview of your creator. And all you can do is protect your family and look after them as best as you can. But ultimately, don't take retribution. Let the justice system prevail and create parallel systems so you don't have to participate in an unjust system. As I've told you before, create relationships with people that you like and trust and only do business with them, even if it's at a premium, as opposed to doing business with someone who wants to destroy your idea of freedom and liberty. So with that being said, I really appreciate all you guys showing up. Check out the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Thank you, Lord, for letting our friend Chile out of jail and giving him an opportunity now to prove to everybody that what he was saying all along was true the entire time. And remember this, there's no substitute for victory. There's no substitute for victory, guys. Good job, Chile. Good job, brother.